Morning Year 8, I hope that you're well and hope you're ready to continue with some artwork. Just give me a minute, I'll get my PowerPoint up. Okay, so we're back to our Birkenhead Park poster work. So hopefully you've completed the first task, the first part of this, which is actually to do the main imagery that's going to go on your poster. Okay, so let's just sort of think about our learning objectives and what we're going to move on to do today. Okay, so develop a design for a poster using images linking to Birkenhead Park. So hopefully you've started that. So today we're going to develop skills and techniques using typography, let's get my words out, or lettering. Okay, so we've got a do now task to do. So your do now task, choose from the list of words below all of the ones that have a link to lettering or lettering styles. So I'd like you to pause the video. I will read them out to you and then just spend a few minutes and write down those that you think have a link to lettering. So the words are frame, viewfinder, shading, font, tone, shape, typeface, form, scale, lexicon, title, tints, texture, colour, alphabet, canvas, graphics, and sculpture. So I want you to pause your video now. I want you to spend a few minutes now considering those words and writing down your answers. And the answers will be at the end of the PowerPoint. So if you pause the video now, please. Okay, if you're back, it's because hopefully you've done your do now task, and we'll move on to our task today, which is all to do with lettering. Okay, so for this task, you will need a pencil and paper. If you have felt pens or paint, you can use those later on in the task. You're going to choose a lettering style or styles, either from your own computer, or I'll make sure that there's a handout for you if you need to come into school to get that. But on the next slide, you will find some different examples of lettering. So decide on a name for the poster. So it could be Birkenhead Park, but if you want to use a particular building, the name of the building, such as the Boathouse, the Grand Entrance, or the Swiss Bridge, then you can do that also. You can add the lettering to your original poster design, or you could put it on a separate piece of paper and assemble it later. You could even cut the letters out and glue them onto your work if you prefer to do that. Okay? So have a little read through that, get focused and think about the task that you're being asked to do. Okay, and we'll move on. So here we go. I've just typed out Birkenhead Park. That doesn't have to be your title. Have a little think about different lettering styles before you choose one. Don't just choose one and stick with it. Have a look at the range of styles available. So I've just picked out 4 there that I quite like. They're all very different, aren't they? So choose the style that you want. As I say, decide on the sort of scale that's going to work well with your piece also. Choose what you think is going to be the best. So if I just show you some work that Year 8s did last year or the year before. So we have a little look. So that's someone's park poster from a couple of years ago. And what it needs on this now is the lettering. Okay, so think about where your lettering is going to go. Think about where's the best place to position it. And that's what we're going to think about next. So get ready for our task. When you start your task, if you're working on separate paper, you might prefer to grid up your lettering like that, because that will help keep it the same size. So if you make yourself a grid and draw the letters within each sort of area, each space, it'll just help you if you're a bit like me and your letters go all over the place in different sizes, that will help you, but you'll need a ruler to do that one. As usual, you keep your lines really light to begin with. and keep your rubber handy so you can modify and change. Sketch out each letter carefully and then thicken the lines once you're happy with the letter shape that you have. Then when it comes to the decoration, you can decorate or shade the letters using any materials that you have, but a biro is fine and you can add patterns to that. So just have a quick look there. So when you add patterns to it, you could add patterns within the lettering or outside the lettering. But again, just make sure you keep it neat and tidy. And if you are working on a separate piece of paper, then obviously you're going to need to have to cut those out and glue them onto the original picture that you've done. Okay. Think about how you're going to arrange your letters. It doesn't have to be just straight across the top. It could be at an angle. You could be using, different style. Each letter could be a different style. Could be a different font. Okay, so there isn't any right way of doing this. There are lots of different solutions to what we're doing. So have a little play around with it, have a little think, but take your time with what you're doing. When it comes to decorating your letters, you can go back to that pointillism style if you want, that we did last time. Hopefully you remember the Georges Seurat work that we did, and that sort of the dotting technique that he used on his called pointillism. So again, that could be a technique that you use. So if you look at this one, this is kind of where you got up to last time. So now you're at the stage where you're going to start to add your lettering onto here. Now you might find it easier to work on a separate piece of paper and glue it on, or you can draw directly onto here. But obviously when you do that, you would have to use darker colours, maybe even a black, with your lettering on here to make it stand out. Okay. So quick recap on our learning outcomes and the exit ticket, what we need to do. So all students will produce lettering for their poster, and you'll start to add shade or tone or colour or collage materials to the lettering. So it's any materials you can really, but a biro is fine if that's all you have, that's absolutely fine. Most of you will produce lettering for your poster design, showing increasing skill now. Start to add tone, colour, collage to lettering creatively. And some of you will be really confident with this. You'll sketch out your lettering on your poster design skillfully and creatively. And again, any materials that you add will also be done showing a lot of skill. So, final slide. Okay, so there's an extension task there for you if you get onto that, which is all about your name in block letters. The do now answers are at the bottom of the slide here. I'm not going to read it out, you can read that yourself. Have fun with this one. Really take your time with the lettering. Again, at least half an hour, really a good hour you should be spending on your task. And then if you're able to, you can cut those out and you can glue them on. If you can't, that's fine. Just draw them directly onto your sketch from last time. And I look forward to seeing these. Have some fun, be creative, and I will speak to you soon, guys. Let's see if I can stop this. Okay, take care.